Hello everyone, my name is Tomco and today I'm showing you how to make a 3x3 piston door. Alright, so here's our door, and to open it you simply whack that button and the door opens just like so. You have to admit, that thing is pretty awesome. And pretty rapid as well. But once the door's open, we can walk in through and then close it behind us once more with the whack of a button. So yes, I have made one of these before, but this one's newer, it's faster, and is much harder to break. But don't worry, if you built the old one, it still works perfectly fine. So not only is this door pretty fast, it's also got a pretty cool looking animation, especially when you close it. It kind of reminds me of a jigsaw piece coming together perfectly. But the best part certainly isn't that it looks like a jigsaw piece, it's its redstone, because this thing is pretty minuscule. Alright, so taking a look, this is its redstone. As you can see, it's literally 1 block wide, so how hard can it really be? By the way, becoming a Patreon supporter or channel member gives you access to all of my world downloads, priority redstone help, and you can even influence what I build next. So if you're interested or just want to support me doing what I love, there's links for you to find out more in the description. Anyways, with that, let me show you how to build it. Just to clarify, this will only work on Bedrock, so if you're still at this part in the video and on Java, this won't work for you. I apologize. Right, so to build it, you're gonna need a 9 blocks long by 9 blocks tall area, and obviously this thing's gonna be 1 block wide. And then this frame right here is the exact same as this frame over there, and your door will sit on the inside of that. So hopefully you can use that to line up your door correctly, and by the way, it's exactly 3 blocks in from the ground. And then to build it, this is everything you're going to need. Bear in mind, they are 3 droppers, and that right there is a copper bulb. It doesn't have to be waxed, and it could be of any oxygen level. That's not what they call it, but you get what I mean. Just bring yourself a copper bulb. And of course, bring yourself some boner blocks. I'm going to be using lime wool, but you can use pretty much anything. But once you got everything, we can start. Right, so to start off, you want to get yourself some droppers and observers out. You want to come to the center of your 9 block long area. You want to place a dropper right on the floor, just like that. This can be facing any direction. Just whack a dropper down. You then have to come 2 blocks to the right, so 1, 2, and place another one there, just like so. You then want to crouch. You can place an observer to the left of this dropper, so that it's pointing into this dropper. As you can see, the arrow is pointing left. You then do the same thing, but to this dropper instead. So crouch, and place an observer facing left, but this time get yourself a solid block out and whack it in front of that observer. So far, if I were to walk back a bit, it looks like this. You then come up 3 temporary blocks, get yourself some sticky pistons out. You want to place 2 sticky pistons on top of this dropper, both of which should be facing upwards. So 1 here and 1 there. Then remove your temporary tower. You want to get some dust out, crouch, place some dust on top of this dropper, get yourself a slab out, place it to the left of this dust, but make sure that it sits on the top half of the block. So not down here, up here. You then get a repeater out. You want to make your way on top of this dropper. You want to place a repeater coming away from you, going into the sticky piston, and set that to 4 ticks. So it's on 1 now, 2, 3, and 4. So it looks like that. You then have to place a block on top of this dust, get yourself your lever out, and this right here is going to be your input block. So if you want to move your lever, or link up anything else into the door, that's the block you have to wire it into. But I'll explain that a bit more detailed later on. You then have to place a block to the right of this dropper, a repeater on top of that block, but this time leave it at 1 tick. You want to crouch, place a block in front of this repeater, get yourself a redstone torch out, and whack it on the top of that block, just like that. You then come up to 3 temporary blocks, so that's 1, 2, and 3. And place a dropper on top of this torch, observer to the left of this dropper. You want to come out a few more blocks, and you want to place a sticky piston to the left of this observer like so. Make sure that it's facing left. We can then remove all these temporary blocks. So don't try it out yet, but what will happen is that when we turn it on, this will first extend, then this will be pushed over, then finally this will get extended, pushing our center block in. Then when it retracts, this will first get retracted. This will pull it back, making way for this to fire, grabbing the top block, pulling it all the way down to the bottom. But it won't do that yet, as we have to finish actually building it. Then you want to crouch again and place a torch on top of this dropper, block on top of that torch, with a dust on top of that block, with 3 sticky pistons to the left of all of these, just like so. You then come up right to the top, and on this top block you want to come up 2 blocks, 1 here and 1 here. You want to remove this middle block. You want to look downwards and place the sticky pistons facing downwards, just under it like so. We can then remove this temporary block just at the top like so. So if you're on survival right now, I suggest you build yourself a little scaffolding pillar. But then come round to over here, you're going to put more dust on top of this sticky piston. A block up, dust on top of this, and a block in front of this dust, so it connects this dust to this sticky piston. Then on the side of this, you can place a redstone torch. That should be on. Get yourself a regular piston out. You can put a block on top of the torch, a block to the left, and then use this block to place a piston facing downwards. So just like that. We can then remove the temporary blocks on the top. You then want to whack another torch on the side of this piston, like that, with a sticky piston facing downwards in front of it, like this, nope, like that, with a redstone block on the bottom of it. You then place 3 blocks underneath this redstone block, so 1, 2, 3, remove these top blocks, and put dust on top of that block, like so. Place those sticky pistons facing right, to the right of this block, and then 2 more on top of it, like so. So 1 here, nope, 1 like that, and then 1 like that. So now we have all of our sticky pistons in place. We just need to finish this little bit at the bottom, and to do that, you want to come to the floor, and get yourself an observer out, and place it below the sticky piston, so it's pointing towards the ground, so that this redstone dot is pointing right towards the floor. You then place an observer to the right of it, so you can jump and place it like that, and it's very important, this arrow is pointing towards the right. You then get your obsidian out, and place it to the left of this observer, just like so. You then get your copper bulb out. Once again, it doesn't have to be waxed, I just prefer the look of the waxed version, but you want to place this on top of this solid block that we placed earlier. So right there, the comparator facing right, coming away from it. So just like that, so that is coming away from the copper bulb and it's facing into your sticky piston. You then place the block to the left of this, repeater on that block going into the copper bulb, set it to 3 ticks, that's 1, 2 and 3, crouch and place the block behind it, jump up into it, place dust on top of this block, on top of the copper bulb, place a repeater coming away from you, set that to 4 ticks, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Come down, place a solid block here, and a solid block in front of the repeater, just like so, and believe it or not, that is everything done. So when we turn it on, it all closes. Awesome. And then when we turn it off, it all opens. Perfect. Now by the way, this thing is actually spam proof, so you can spam it as much as you want, and it will never break, but you might need to reset it. How to do it here. As you can see, even though it looks broken, it can fix itself, but this copper bulb right now should be off. So if you ever spammed it hard enough that the copper bulb stays on, all you have to do is reset it, and the way you do that is by powering it, and as you can see, it fixes itself. So now when we close it, it fixes itself, and then when we open it, it all's back to working perfectly. So this part's very important, but if you're moving your lever, you'd attach a repeater going into exactly where it once was, but once you've done this, you have to set this repeater to 3 ticks, and this one down here, set that to no ticks, and replace it with dust. This is very important, but only if you're removing a lever on this block and linking it with a repeater instead. So if you left this as 4 ticks and left this as 1 tick, with a repeater here, it will work sometimes, but it can be unreliable. Let's see if it does it now. Nope, it worked that time. Come on, what about now? Nope, it worked that time again. Come on, it worked first time the other time. There we go. As you can see, sometimes it will do that. It will never break itself, but it's kind of annoying. And to fix that, once again, set that to 3 ticks, set that to dust, and now it will never break. Anyways, now what you have to do is to decorate it. Right, so I've decorated it. I've literally just added a wall and a floor. Pretty basic, I know. But I've also made my lever simply by attaching it to dust, to a repeater, which connects it to the door. But we can close it, and we can open it, just like so. By the way, if you wanted to add buttons, pressure plates, even tripwire hooks to this build, there will be a video on the screen shortly that will help you, or there's a link to it in the description down below. Anyways, that tutorial done. Any questions or if you need any help, let me know down in the comments or join the Discord server. That is the best place to contact me. But that's all for me, and I'll see you all later. Have fun with the new awesome 3x3 piston door. Bye!